Good day, students. My name is Әбдікерім Ә. Our new term is about Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. Florence Nightingale was born in 1820 to a rich family. Her parents expected her to marry and have a family. But Florence didn't want a meaningless life. She wanted to help the sick and the poor. Eventually, she persuaded her father to let her become a nurse. In 1854, England, France, and Turkey went to war against Russia. Reports began to reach England of the terrible conditions soldiers were suffering in the army hospitals. Florence volunteered to go and help. When she arrived, she found thousands of ill and wounded soldiers living in filthy conditions. The hospitals were overcrowded and unventilated. Soldiers lay without proper food, bedding, and clothing. There was a lack of basic medical supplies like bandages and medicine. Rats and sewage filled the hospital corridors. Soldiers were dying in the thousands not from their wounds but from the unsanitary conditions. Florence cleaned up the hospital, made sure the men were fed properly, and saw that supplies were available. She worked almost around the clock looking after the soldiers. Florence soon became known as the Lady with the Lamp for her dedication to caring for her patients. News of her hard working in Crimea filtered back to London. She became a celebrity. By the time she arrived back in London, she was the most famous person in Britain after Queen Victoria. After the war, Florence continued to work to improve conditions in hospitals. She even established a school for nursing and wrote an influential book on the profession. She also became an important consultant on health issues. In fact, it was her work after the war that changed medical care forever. It is a medal instituted by the International Committee of the Red Cross. It is the highest honor in the nursing profession. The Florence Nightingale Medal is awarded to people who distinguish themselves in times of peace or war by showing exceptional courage and devotion to the wounded, sick, or disabled. In her later years, Florence suffered from ill health. She died in 1910 at the age of 90. She was famous all over the world. She changed hospitals all over the world. There is a museum in London which celebrates her life and work.
Florence Nightingale was a nurse who saved many lives in the 19th century. She was named after the city of Florence in Italy, where her parents went after they got married in 1818. Her family was rich, and they had 2 homes in Britain, as well as servants. Florence was an unusual young woman for her time because she didn't want to go to parties and get married. She wanted to be a nurse and help people. Her family didn't want her to become a nurse because hospitals back then were dirty, horrible places. They were worried about her. In 1851, Florence went to Germany and learned all about nursing. It was hard work, but she loved it. In 1854, lots of British soldiers went to fight in the Crimean War. Army hospitals were filled with injured men, but there were no nurses and many men died. Florence and a team of nurses went to help. Florence worked 20 hours a day to make the army hospital a cleaner and safer place. She brought the men fresh food, she cleaned the hospital beds, and she used clean bandages on the wounded soldiers. Soon, fewer men were dying. At night, Florence walked around the hospital. She talked to the injured soldiers and helped the men to write letters to their families. She carried a lamp, and the soldiers called her the Lady with the Lamp. When Florence returned to England, people called her a heroine because of her amazing work in the Crimean War. Queen Victoria wrote her a letter to say thank you. She continued to work hard in Britain to improve hospitals, and she was given a medal called the Order of Merit. She was the first woman to receive this honor.